Well, we do stay in the Middle East, and Syrian government is urging respect for a shaky truce deal in the Druze region. This despite a ceasefire announcement, with clashes reportedly continuing in Sweida, where hundreds have so far died. Syrian forces are deploying to enforce the truce, but gunfire is still potentially echoing in the city. Well, this comes as the European Union welcomed the US brokered ceasefire between Syria and Israel. It calls for protection of all civilians and urges accountability for violations of international law during the recent violence. Meanwhile, Israel warns it remains very dangerous to be a minority in interim President al-Sharaa Syria. Israeli officials criticise Sharaa's government for failing to protect minorities amid ongoing sectarian clashes. The violence in Sweida has drawn in Israel, Syria's Islamist government and local factions. The fragile ceasefire faces serious challenges, with regional tensions and sectarian violence persisting. Authorities continue monitoring the situation closely. Well, we are once again joined by Eric Woolberg. Eric, thank you very much for rejoining us. There are, of course, points of optimism. The EU speaking about this US-brokered Israel-Syria ceasefire. However, we have had reports of further gunfire being heard in Sweida. We've heard that Syrian forces, Syrian government forces, are returning to Sweida with instability still at play. Do you think that this truce, this ceasefire deal between Israel and Syria, has any real possibility of holding firm with sectarian violence still clearly at play?
No, it's not going to hold, and the situation in Syria is a disaster, and it's Israel is the cause of all of it. It undermined Saddam, it undermined Bashar Assad, weakened to the point where with the bombings, constant bombings, and support for al-Qaeda. Israel, its goal is to dismember Syria and basically control the southern half itself. Its whole policy in the Middle East is to divide and conquer, to keep Arabs disunited, fighting among themselves so that they can't fight Israel. And from Israel's point of view, that's a perfectly good policy, but from everyone else's point of view, it's a disaster because you have constant civil war. And that's the situation in Syria now. There's so many different factions that were held together under a united government under Bashar Assad. It was not a nice government. It was cruel, but it was holding the country together. Now al-Qaeda is in control, and you've got members of the government are from Uyghur, from Turkestan, East Turkestan, from China. You've got from Uzbekistan. There's quite a few, and these are hardened al-Qaeda jihadists. And now Israel, it's kind of regretting it, saying, "Oh well, we don't want these people in your government." And so it's basically trying to control the whole makeup of the government, and it's bombing, it's continuing to bomb Damascus. So nothing is good is going to happen really in Syria. I think it's going to be a constant civil war and strife for at least a year or two until some kind of resolution of Gaza and Palestine. Really, we're waiting for a sensible U.S. policy, which is not in the works now. So really, as long as Trump's in power, I think Syria is going to be a disaster and will be undermined and controlled. Basically, it will be divided. It's already Turkey in the north, Israel in the south, and I don't know what. Now Israel is threatening to invade Lebanon and make it part of a greater Syria. So if that's the case, then Israel really is intending to control all of Syria. It will probably
Eric, we are unfortunately out of time, but thank you ever so much for providing that